Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. What's up, everybody? You're back in here. Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk. You've got Coach. Go ahead, slam that subscribe button down there. 500 subscribers. We're giving away a free jersey to one of you lucky guys. We would love for it to be an Amari Cooper jersey, a Nick Chubb jersey, a David Njoku jersey. It will not be a Deshaun Watson jersey. Just going to go ahead and put that out there to the masses. Hit that notification bell up there in the corner so you get our videos in the future. What up, Coach? How's it going, buddy?
Let them have a Deshaun Watson jersey, dude.
Nope. If the winner requests a Deshaun Watson jersey and they're adamant about it, I will reshuffle the deck and somebody else will win. Not doing it.
Come on.
Nope. Won't do it. I've got 2 little girls living in my house and a wife that I love dearly. I'm not going to support it. I say that as a Dolphins fan. Don't come at me with the Tyreek bullshit. Not here for it. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's get into this, Coach. Let's see if the Browns got any better than their 11-6 record in 2023. Jerry Jeudy got added, wide receiver there from Denver. I kind of like that move for the Browns. I don't know if I like it for Jerry, but I like that move for the Browns. Bringing in Dante Foreman to back up Nick Chubb there. Jameis Winston, Jabu got brought in.
Like that a lot.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. I think Jameis, I love what just the vibes he puts out. He is going to have a great career in content making when he gets out of the league.
Yes.
He's got a job lined up at Barstool somewhere immediately as soon as he gets out. And then brought in Jordan Hicks at linebacker to shore up the defense a little bit.
Now, they lost 2 linebackers in Anthony Walker and Sion Taki. So Jordan Hicks was obviously a good addition. I think losing Anthony Walker was probably their biggest loss of their 2 linebackers.
And that's the major thing. They didn't really lose much as a team.
Yeah. And they still have their defensive line, which is their real strength. Myles Garrett is still a premier pass rusher and maybe potentially even the best in the league at his size, speed, athleticism, even at the age that he's playing at. I think that for me, adding Jerry Jeudy, I don't hate him near as much as I hate Claypool, but his attitude and just the way that he plays the game, it is not something that I would want in my locker room. I would way rather that them pick up the guy from the Cowboys that I really hate that played alongside.
He says this that has a locker room with Deshaun Watson in it, but go ahead. What?
The guy that plays for the Cowboys that I don't like that was playing alongside Amari Cooper. They just let him go this past offseason.
Michael Gallup.
I think that adding him would have been better than adding Jerry Jeudy, and Michael Gallup's not as good of a player as Jerry Jeudy. I don't know. Now, maybe I just buy into Steve.
It's not like they gave up the farm for Jerry. I believe it was like a 5th round pick for Jerry. So I like that because pairing him up with Amari, and then you've still got Elijah Moore there and David Njoku with Nick Chubb. It is a formidable offense. Their offensive line is borderline elite. They have a very good offensive line. So their team, the way their team is built for the AFC North.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about this division is more than any other division in the NFL, they build their teams to win their divisions.
Yep.
You have other divisions and other teams that will do that, but the AFC East, for example, you've got Miami as a track team, knowing damn good and well they're going to have to play some winter games at the end of the season just because all 3 of their other divisional teams are up in the Northeast. So I love that this division for that factor alone. They also drafted Michael Hall Jr., defensive tackle, brought in Zach Zenter from Michigan for offensive guard. I like the Jamari Thrash pick at wide receiver out of Louisville to give them some more depth there. They didn't have many picks, so, you work with what you've got, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and dive into the ADPs a little bit here for you. And coming up first, we've got Deshaun Watson, quarterback there. He's number 22 on the quarterback list. 13th round overall is where you can grab him.
Yep. I think that their offense should be better than it was last year, and with Nick Chubb's leg getting removed at one point in the season last year,
Just cut off.
I mean, it was gone. Like, if you watch that video, like, his leg was removed from his body for a moment. So I to know what he's gonna do coming back. I mean, before the injury, he was easily a first round running back every single year of his career, based off of pure volume. He was 5 yards a carry rusher with a ton of volume, nice good amount of touchdowns, even though his team wasn't ever really like a premier offense. I don't know if I want to like invest in even like a Deshaun Watson though, just because I don't know how good this offense is going to be at throwing the ball.
So where you brought up Nick Chubb being the number 35 running back in the 10th round. Now, I don't know if he's projected to start week 1. I don't know if he's even projected to be back by week 4.
Yeah.
But that is insane to me. That's one of those picks and one of those players to where I don't care. I will draft him in every single draft that I do.
I agree. Even if he's 60 or 70% of the player he was before the injury, there's just so much value.
Fantasy wise, bro, just let me get the last few weeks of the season out of you.
Whenever
like
it's
you're
winter
giving
months.
me Nick Chubb, like healthy Nick Chubb at the end of the year, like absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
When I've already got my whole starting lineup drafted already.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even have to look at running back until like the 7th or 8th round if you know that you're taking Nick Chubb in the 9th or the 10th. Like, it doesn't even have to be something that you're considering.
And his backup, Jerome Ford, he's going in the 12th round.
Yeah. And Jerome Ford had a very solid season last year. I had him on my dynasty, and whenever Nick Chubb went out, he ended up being one of my starting running backs a lot. He got to the point where he was averaging anywhere from 12, so he got a couple 20-point games. Like, they were utilizing him in an effective way. He was not Nick Chubb. He wasn't the same, but he was very, very fantasy friendly. He also receives the ball quite well. He's not a receiving back, but he can receive the ball, and he did that well enough.
Well, yeah, well enough to get the job done. Amari Cooper right now, number 27 wide receiver, 49th overall. Jerry Jeudy, 135 overall, and Elijah Moore, 229 overall. So not really discussing Elijah Moore too much because he's probably not even getting drafted for yet. Amari Cooper in the 4th and Jerry Jeudy in the 13th.
I'm taking Amari Cooper in the 4th in every draft. Pure volume wise, he's going to get 10 targets a game, and you're going to get him in the 4th round. Whenever we talked about George Pickens during the Steelers, I said Amari Cooper was one of the few players like in the first 5 picks before Pickens that I would absolutely take before Pickens. But like that was it. Like DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Malik Neighbors, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is another one I would take before George Pickens. But like the other guys, DK Metcalf has a lot of question marks surrounding him throughout his whole career. He stays healthy, but he doesn't get enough volume. I want volume. I don't care about a 70-yard touchdown once every 4 or 5 weeks because I can't win every week if I'm only getting that.
The key, volume and target share.
Yes.
Like opportunities. Give me as many opportunities to get the ball in your hands as possible.
Amari Cooper was a top 5, top 10 wide receiver for a lot of the season last year. For a lot of it. Before Joe Flacco was the guy.
Yeah, you took it right out of my mouth there. Like, I really wanted to look at it and see the last few weeks of the season compared to when he had Deshaun in there.
So he got 40 points versus Houston. He got 16 points versus Chicago. He had only 4 points, 9 points, 17. Baltimore, he didn't do well. But San Fran, he crushed it. Arizona, he crushed it. I guess he was more like a top 10, maybe top 15, based off of like the stats we're seeing right here.
So, last 5 weeks of the season, you've got 8 targets, 6 targets, 8 targets, 10 targets, 7 targets, posting 108 yards, 16 yards, 116, 90, 37. And we know he absolutely, week 1 of the season, went off at Houston, 265 yards on 15 targets. Jacksonville, week 3, he got 14 targets. Then it kind of went back to the mean.
16,
so
wasn't it?
With Houston was, yes, you're correct. I'm sorry. I've got it inverted on my stuff here. So yeah, the last 5 weeks of the season with Flacco, he was looking at 15 targets, 8, 14 targets, 5, 6. Like,
yeah,
targeted heavily with Flacco, whereas he was getting targeted decently, but nothing towards what you're wanting to see of those double-digit target realms.
In the first 8 games, he was only targeted less than 8 times twice, and that was Baltimore and Cincinnati. And the first week,
that's solid. And where you're drafting him as your wide receiver 2 or possibly a very high flex.
Yeah, I mean,
if I get him as a very high flex, I've already got 2 wide receivers, maybe a running back, and I'm just dipping back in. Yeah, okay. If you give me Amari Cooper as a flex, I'm rolling with that.
Exactly. Especially like above like a Keenan Allen, a Malik Neighbors, like Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Tank Dell, Terry Mack, Christian Kirk. Like, I'm absolutely taking Amari.
Right, so
before every one of these guys.
With the Jerry Jeudy discussion of him in the 13th round, you've also got their tight end David Njoku going in the 13th round as well at 133 overall. Between those two, where's the value? Are you cool with Njoku as your number 1 tight end?
So my issue with Njoku is that in the first 4 weeks, he was targeted 3, 4, 4, and 7 times. And then at San Fran, he was targeted 4, 9, 8, 6, 9. He got 15 targets in week 11. I think Deshaun might have still been in at that point, but that was like one of his last games. The final 5 weeks was whenever he was like targeted 14 times, 9 times, 8 times, 8 times, 6 times against the Rams. He was getting way more targets whenever Joe Flacco was in. I feel like the way that the team was working was a lot different at that point as well, because they didn't have Chubb. Those first 4 or 5 weeks, they had Chubb to rely on. Once Chubb got hurt was whenever the targets started going more to the receivers instead of just trying to shove it down people's throat. So he doesn't scare me because of where he's being drafted. I think that taking him as the 9th tight end, I'm absolutely happy with that.
Now, from week 6 on, he didn't get less than 6 targets in a game.
I'm pretty sure that was after Chubb.
Which, as a tight end, okay, like I'm taking that, and so I think if anybody's gonna have their value take a hit from Jerry Jeudy coming in, it would be Njoku more than it would be Amari Cooper.
I agree with that.
However, if I'm playing the game where I'm waiting on a tight end, like I'm just punting it down the line, I'm cool with Njoku being my tight end 1, taking him in the 13th round. Like I'm completely fine with that.
Hawkinson is still recovering from a knee injury. If he wasn't, I would want Hawkinson over Njoku. Jake Ferguson goes right after Njoku. I might be happy with Jake Ferguson as well. But that's it. That's the end of it for me. Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, Cole Kmet, Pat Freiermuth. I'd rather have Njoku over all those guys.
And see where Hawkinson's going in like the 12th round, I'm fine with doubling up. Like Njoku is actually moved up looking at these rankings going in about the 9th round.
Yeah.
So he has jumped up there quite a bit. I wonder how much the reports coming out of, they're wanting to feature him more after seeing obviously what he can do. So, but with that being the factor, I'm fine doubling up, taking Njoku in the 9th and then Hawkinson in the 11th or 12th. Because then when Hawkinson comes back, you're just playing the hot hand, or you've got a solid flex option as well. I'm never shying away from that. The Browns defense was one of the best defenses in football. Like we said, they lost their 2 linebackers, but they also brought in a stud in Jordan Hicks. I don't think their defense lost too much as well. So, I mean, overall, whenever you look at this Browns team, went at 11-6 in 2023, over under set in at 8.5. What are you thinking with this Browns squad? You going over or under on that?
I'm going over. They won a lot of games with Joe Flacco last year. People didn't think that they were going to win those games. I think that their team is better with Deshaun Watson.
I think this year is the most pressure-filled year Deshaun Watson has had in his career so far.
Agreed.
Because of all the money that you got paid. And we saw what this team did with Joe Flacco in there off the couch playing quarterback for them. If he doesn't come in and honestly have a top 12 quarterback season for them and take them to the playoffs, it is absolutely a failure by all measures. Like, his contract's already being looked at if like as a case study of this is what we will not do for a contract again in the future.
Ever again. We were saying at the beginning, we were talking about him being the 22nd quarterback, how their offense works, and just in general, like whether or not we would take him. I think that I would probably target Deshaun Watson as my quarterback too, if I end up getting someone from like Tua, Justin Herbert, Caleb, Trevor Lawrence. If Jaden Daniels is my quarterback 1 at 17th quarterback, if somebody ends up going like, you know, Josh Allen, and then they
as
get
a
like,
quarterback too, he does have value, because if he does end up like clicking and, you know, he gives us the Deshaun Watson from 4 or 5 years ago in Houston, yeah, you're getting insane value there. Like, I get that. But he's absolutely not one of those where I'm playing the wait on a quarterback game. Like, I'm just not doing it.
I'm not targeting him as my wait on a quarterback, but he's 28 years old, dude. He's still athletic. He's always been a solid thrower of the ball. Some of those throws he had in Houston, off platform, getting tackled almost at his knees and throwing touchdowns, like, he's an impressive player. Hopefully, you know, Cleveland can get him out of his own head, because it seemed like that was a lot of what the issue was last year. He needs to stop listening to whatever the media says, for sure. But I'm going to go over.
I'm going over. I think that's just set way too low for how good their defense is. I do think their offense got better, and that's a 3-game swing from what they did last year. Like, that would have to be an abysmal season for me to go the under. So I'm going the over as well. Dog Pound, if you're still here with us, we absolutely appreciate you guys. We love you. Hit that subscribe button down below. 500, we're giving away a free jersey of your choice. We love you guys. We appreciate you. TulsiRoseTea.com is the sponsor. Peace out.